get it if I want it. Gotta make to myself a promise. I won't quit, keep going till I got it. I won't give up till I'm on top.
Yo, no, I ain't the type to give up. If I do something, man, I do it till I get what I want. I turn a business out of nothing into something I love. I got a poker face, but honestly, I'm not one to bluff. I flip a switch, never miss, man, I always stay up. Don't let them see you, bitch, always have a plan to stay tough. This life ahead of you ain't easy, it was built to be rough. But that's what makes a personality, is tragedy, bruh. So keep your head on your shoulders. Now we ain't out here moving rocks, we out here moving boulders. Now we ain't getting posterized, we out here making posters. And we ain't got nothing to hide, we move forward like soldiers. You better wake up for the pay stub, or you'll pay up. Don't make love to the game, bruh.
Hey guys, Coach Dan here. We are week 2, fat loss phase, workout number 1. So this is our first push workout of the week. Now I'm going to describe if I can speak my words here in a second. Once I go through the workout that we've got on the cards today, I'm going to give a couple of little things about the dieting phase that I'm in, a couple of little, tidbits, goals, rate of weight loss, all that kind of stuff. So stay tuned for that. So on today's agenda, this is a follow-up workout from last week, with the goal being progression from all the lifts that I did. Last week's workout went sensationally, so we don't have to change anything there. So medium incline Smith machine bench press, changed it, slight increase in angle last week, very nice. We're going, what's this one? Pin loaded chest press, a nice deep stretch on that. So getting a big stretch through the chest with a yoga block behind the back. Both of those in the 8 to 12 rep range. Machine fly for a bit of isolation. I'm going to take the top part of the handle to kind of keep the arm high, so potentially working a little bit more through the upper pec on that one. And then we work into some shoulder stuff. So, this nice one. I've got this incline lying on your back machine lateral raise, which I put back into the program last week, and that felt good. Then we go some classic plate loaded shoulder press. Again, it was heavy last week, so hopefully we can do a little bit better this week. And then a Smith machine skull crusher. So setting up on the Smith machine for a lying skull crusher or tricep extension. So all good from last week. Felt very good after last week's workout. So we don't change a thing from that. We just redo with trying to get that little bit better. A rep extra, a couple of kgs extra, whatever it might be. The goal is now progressive overload. We've got a good program in place. It feels good on the body. So now it's time to progress. Now, alongside that, the dieting phase. So for me, this dieting phase is going to last about 9 to 10 weeks. And that is only because I have a vacation at the end of that time. So that's the timeline that I have. Goal amount of weight loss per week is about half a kilo. So trying to lose about, 4 to 5 kilos in this duration of hopefully mostly fat, retain muscle, retain performance, retain strength as much as possible. And that will be a good thing. I think that will make a significant difference across the board. What else I got for us? Food, as soon as I do something like this, well, obviously calorie amount changes. So I've been going from having, 3,000, 3,200 calories, tracking pretty not very specifically. So when I'm not in a dieting phase, it's good to take a bit of a break from having to track so tightly. So I know I was having about 3 meals per day, and they all had about 1,000 calories with about 50 grams of protein, and that just suited my schedule, and that kind of had me gaining weight at the rate that I needed. So immediately what I've done is now going down 2,500 calories, keeping protein the same, taking a chunk away from carbohydrates, taking a chunk away from fat. So those are the couple of specifics there, and it's just about watching the progress, checking in on the scale, seeing if I'm losing weight at the correct rate that I'm after, and then adjusting accordingly. So I am not doing any targeted cardio, but I am aiming for about 8 to 10,000 steps to begin with, which for me, with some of the stuff that I do, work is somewhat active, but then I'm on a computer for a big chunk of the day. So that takes about sometimes about 20 to 30 minutes of walking per day to kind of get us there. So those are some of the specifics. They're just some ideas. Put any comments below if you have any questions on that, or if you want to spitball some ideas or brainstorm or question why I do anything that we do. Again, I'm not saying mine is a blueprint for everyone. It's just the way in which I am going about it. I've done it before, so I'm confident that if I go back to doing that same thing, I'll get a good result. So that's that. Okay, that's a little spiel on the fat loss phase that we're in, guys, along with our push workout for the day. But without any, what do they say when they're presenting something? Without further ado, let's hit the let's hit the Incline Smith machine bench press. But no. We'll get through your problems together, will we? You watch till you see this on video. All right, first up, we're rocking the medium incline Smith machine bench press. So I like using the Smith machine for my bench presses because it decreases the need for stability. So if we were to do it on a standard bench press, you obviously have a technique thing, you can move around and stuff like that. Now, that is fine, and they're probably equal as far as muscle growth goes. However, I like the stability. I find that it allows me to push pretty hard, really close to failure. Whereas on that, maybe a little less safe, technique can break down and stuff like that. And my goals don't surround that, they surround muscle growth, so I may as well use this. Now, with that said, specifics surrounding the incline bench press, essentially I'm setting it up incline and essentially where the bar is coming down to focus on the upper part of the chest. So I've got it on a medium incline. Of recent times, I've had a low incline, both are good, but now I'm sort of focusing even more towards the upper part of the chest. I will set the bench up such that where the bar comes down will touch up high on my chest, while my elbows and forearm is essentially under the bar. Now, what can happen if we go on too large an incline? Essentially, it becomes like a shoulder press, and that will be more shouldered on it, still with the upper pec as well. But essentially, we're trying to line it up such that it's chest mainly, a little bit of the shoulder will come into the game. But yeah, most of the focus with chest. First time I did it at this incline last week, and it felt really good. So we're going to continue to do it, and that's that. Let's build it on up. All right, next up we have the horizontal machine chest press. So this machine, different from the incline Smith machine bench press, now pretty much comes out horizontally or straight. So if we think about the angle up, it's focusing towards the top part of the chest. This is now more so the center part of the chest. So within the chest, you have part of it that kind of heads in towards the sternum, part of it that kind of heads up towards the clavicle. Now we're just kind of going that standard one that comes towards the sternum or the sternal pec. So nothing too much to be said. This chest press is pretty good, minus the fact that it's just limited in a little bit of range of motion. So I'll essentially place this here, yoga block between my shoulder blades, allow a bigger stretch through the chest, push out strong, control for that big stretch, push out again. So we've got that exercise there, angled a bit more towards the upper pec. Then we've got this one coming out in front, and then we do a fly. That is kind of isolation, and I kind of angle it up a little bit, which I'll show you in a sec. All right, let's find our weight and smash it out. Okay, due to availability, as always in a commercial gym, not everything you need is always available in order, but we're going plate loaded shoulder press. So normally I'd even go, I've got a machine fly and a lateral raise, but this is the only thing available out of all those. So we're going to go here first. Don't have time to kind of hang around too much, so Yeah, this here is targeted towards the anterior part of the delt. So you'll see that when an arm kind of comes in towards the head or out front, the anterior part of the delt is the one kind of pulling your arm in this position. If you think about where it's attaching, the deltoid tuberosity, and then into the lateral part of your collarbone. So it's essentially pulling these 2 points together, and that looks something like arm coming towards the head. If you see on this side a bit better, arm coming towards the head. If we think about lateral delt, that's then kind of pulling you out to the side, because that's the same point, the deltoid tuberosity, and then into the side part of your shoulder. So that'll kind of pull your arm in these kind of positions, right? Now, normally this would come, 2 exercises later, because it's not a priority, but again, I don't really have an option to kind of just chill and hang around for a bit. I've got stuff to do today, so change the order for today, and it might actually improve my performance on here. So neutral grip for me is what I've been working. That feels solid and strong and good to me. Neutral grip, driving the arm towards the head, control the way down, drive the arm towards the head. So again, it's not just about pushing up, it's about kind of pulling the arm in to focus on that. Tricep will get some work here, upper part of the pec probably get some work as well, so getting all of those in on the act. All right, let's build our weight up and then let's do it. All right, we well and truly are out of order here. This is the Smith Machine Skull Crusher. So as far as order goes, I would normally go incline Smith bench press, chest press, machine fly. So far I've missed that. And my lateral raise variation for the day, shoulder press, which now I've done, and then I would finish on this. But again, availability here, it's not massively busy, but just people are doing the same stuff I'm doing. So what can you do? That sometimes is frustrating to me that I can't do things in order, but I'm trying to grow and not let it frustrate me, even though it's frustrating because I have issues surrounding that stuff. Anyway, the Smith Skull Crusher, my most recent Skull Crusher variation. I like the dumbbells sometimes, although I've moved away from the dumbbells a little bit. I like the easy bar, I always find pretty good. I like a cable version that I do where I roll a bench over the cable machine. That's pretty red hot. And then this one's quite good as well. Feels good on the body, smashes the triceps, happy days. I've been doing a bit of a higher rep range because a little while back I was having some drama with my elbow, and I have since ironed that out. However, I've stayed with the higher rep range. So skull crushers can vary depending on preference. So sometimes you can kind of aim towards the forehead. I've got a hat in the way. Sometimes you can aim towards the chin like this. For me, I've always found skull crushers to be just that little bit more effective above the head. Effective from the perspective of it feels like a larger stimulus. So I continue to do that. So with the Smith machine, this particular Smith machine caps out as far as depth goes, but it essentially is like almost touching the top of my head here. Bring it all the way down, tap, and then extend from there. And that feels effective to me, so I'm going to keep doing it. Real effective, actually. Got smashed last week doing this one, so got a good performance last week, so we'll go at it again, and we'll add a little bit of weight today. Let's see how we go. Alright, we finally got the machine fly available. This is normally third exercise, but I've had to throw everything out of order, but that's okay. Maybe the performance will be a little bit down here, but what you to do? Can't sit around all day. So machine fly, now the goal is to isolate the chest as much as possible. If you think about with all our pressing movements, we get some action through our tricep as well. Here you will get some action through the bicep and still the anterior deltoid, but it takes the tricep out of it. So at least this will allow, as close an isolation exercise for the bicep as possible. Now, the thing that I do unique on here is I place my hands on this frame, which is going to allow it's going to essentially line up my arms such that we're coming a little higher on the chest versus down here. As I've mentioned a few times, sort of through the lower part of my chest looks like I've got a tit. So essentially I'm trying to work towards the top part. Maybe this makes a difference, maybe it doesn't, but at least I'm trying. The other thing I do is a nice big stretch back here and a soft elbow, and then we're dragging the arms towards one another. Open up for a big stretch and drag. So if we think about one of the main functions of the pec, it's kind of to pull your arm from this position. It attaches into the front of your arm like such, and then in towards the sternum. So we're pulling those 2 points to one another to try and work the chest as much as possible. All right, it is my bad for doing this day. This is International Chest Day, so I can't really complain about not getting on the machines that I want. All right, let's go. All right, next up, we're going to go chest supported dumbbell lateral raise. So again, on this day, I have previously been doing a cable lateral raise where I lie down, but just seems that everyone's against me today as far as using equipment goes. So we're going to get this in. I like this one in times gone by. So we take 2 dumbbells, get the chest on the pad here, raising out 45-ish degrees. They call this the scapular plane. So versus it being straight out to the side, which can often involve a lot of trap and like your shoulder just kind of raises because it runs into itself. This one here kind of allows for just a smoother path to use a lateral delt. So I like to go, this is all dumbbell variations these days. I find this pretty effective. Instead of going directly out to the side, like it makes sense, like lateral delt, we kind of go out on that 45 into that kind of position there. All right, we got a few sets here, so let's gear up and let's go for it. All right, that's a wrap on the workout, guys. I would categorize that one as so-so. I am a little bit distracted today. I've got a presentation coming up today, a presentation for my honours, and it's, I don't know, my head's just not there. But we got in there and things weren't terrible. And the other thing is, had to change things, and I never really like doing that. That really fucks with me a little bit as well, having to change exercise order and stuff like that. I'm a little bit of a prima donna like that, so a little bit distracted, a little bit annoyed, and but we got in there, we got it done. So they're not always the, you know, world breakers, but after I get this presentation done, hopefully that will be a bit of a thought off my mind. Usually training is a bit of a meditative kind of thing for me, but today it's been hard to kind of focus. You know, when you have something coming up and you feel a bit nervous and you feel it in your gut, that's kind of where I'm at with this. So hopefully once we get that out of the way, it'll be a big relief, and then we'll be able to focus in again tomorrow. So tomorrow, we'll have the presentation done and we'll be hack squatting. big hack squats. Really loving those hack squats at the moment. Well, it's a bit of a love-hate. It's terribly painful, really puts you in your place, but yeah, very effective, should I say. So we get in there, we get the hackies done, and then we move on to the rest of the workout. That workout has been proper smashing my quads. I haven't been able to recover from my second lower body day of the week, so hopefully this week's a little bit better. All right, that'll do us. As always, if you could hit the little subscription up here, it'd be much appreciated. If you want to see some other videos, click the video up here. And as always, it's about progress over perfection. Coach Dan, signing off.